Hey friends, it's the end of 2024, which means it's time to do a wrap up on the goals that I made in January. We'll start with French. The goal is to be able to have a short conversation in French and be able to introduce myself. But a lot happened this year, including a couple of challenging things. My partner Austin had a serious back injury earlier on in the year, and towards the end we lost our younger pupper, Nezzy. And French was the goal that was sacrificed, which I'm okay with because I'd rather prioritize family over any goal anyway. Next was running. This is like a 3-part goal. Complete a 5K and 10K training program, stay injury free, and participate in the Hood to Coast relay race with 11 of my friends. And this one was like mostly successful. I completed the 5K training program through Garmin before finding out that I have arthritis in one of my feet. It could be because I'm entering my senior era, or it could be because people of all ages get arthritis, and I had no idea. Because I wanted to continue running, I went through some physical therapy, so I was able to participate in Hood to Coast. Each of the team members were assigned 3 legs, and on my first leg, I ran a PR, got so fast. But then on my second leg, I got injured, so I wasn't able to run my third. Luckily, I was on an amazing team with some very supportive team members, and they ran my third leg for me. Also, fortunately, my injury was some kind of tendinitis, so it cleared up in a couple weeks and I was able to start running again, which I really enjoy, especially when traveling to a new place so I get to explore the city and my surroundings, like the time I went to the national park this year. Austin and I went to Oregon to visit my sister in Portland, but also so the 3 of us could go to Crater Lake. At that point, Austin's back was recovering, so we made sure to take it easy on the trails. We were able to go to that island in the middle of the lake, which was awesome because there was this area where you could swim, which I did, and found out that the water was freezing cold. They told me, everyone told me that the water was going to be cold. I just did it anyway. The next goal was meal prepping. I wanted to meal prep just 30 times. You know, there are 52 weeks. Just 30 times in the whole year. Can you already tell it didn't happen? To be fair, it probably did happen. I was just extremely inconsistent about tracking when I did. I cooked a lot this year. I think that was because I was just aware of the goal. Like throughout the year, but like in September, I did Whole30 and was cooking even more frequently. Even in November, there's Thanksgiving and I was the head chef. And even the day after Thanksgiving, my mom and I cooked empanadas from a recipe that some new friends from Argentina gave me when I was visiting Buenos Aires. Originally, the plan was to go to Greece to attend one of my friend's weddings. However, those dates coincided with Austin's back injury, so I decided to go to the Greek festival here in Austin. And then just last month, I was able to go to Argentina and practice my español and see some little pingüinos. Eso nos trae al reto de español. Quería leer 3 libros, obviamente en español, hablar más y crecer el vocabulario. Elegí un audiolibro que se llama Proyecto Hail Mary porque me encantó el libro en inglés, y este año no había un tercer libro porque el segundo que elegí era lo más largo del mundo, que se llama La sombra del viento, pero todavía estoy disfrutando leerlo, y eso podría ser porque no paro cuando hay una palabra que aún no sé, solo tengo un subrayador para marcar la palabra y sigo. Sin embargo, hay veces que no entiendo totalmente lo que está pasando en el libro, pero para la mayor parte del tiempo entiendo suficiente por contexto.
Otra cosa es que por todo este año he estado aprendiendo unas letras de canciones que me gustan para mejorar el vocabulario también. Fuera de eso, casi todas las mañanas escribo en un diario unas cosas para que estoy agradecida. En español, por supuesto. Todavía estoy tomando unas lecciones con Alfonso.
Además, este año, afortunadamente, un amigo mío de tenis me invitó a un grupo que habla español todos los martes. Ese grupo ha sido increíble porque estamos libres de compartir nuestras perspectivas, nuestras emociones, nuestros pensamientos y crecimientos y tal, sin juicio. Y eso es la parte más importante, ¿no? Es maravilloso, y las personas aún más. Literalmente lo mejor. Aunque todavía pienso que no tengo la capacidad de decir exactamente lo que quería decir con fluidez, sin tomar mucho tiempo, pero eso es la razón que voy, efectivamente. La última cosa es los 5 libros que más me gustaron este año, and those were, starting with number 1, Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning. This is a fantasy book about a woman who travels to Ireland to avenge her sister's death, only to realize there's a lot more going on there than she thought, like I don't know, like a fairy war. Number 2, What Happened to You by Bruce D. Perry and Oprah Winfrey. This book encourages a mind shift from the more judgmental, what's wrong with you, to a more gentle, empathetic, what happened to you. Number 3, Funny Story by Emily Henry, and it's hilarious. It made me laugh out loud, it's cute, there's romance, and it's just brain candy. Number 4 is Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. It follows a family through several generations from Korea to Japan, and it actually taught me so much about myself. My whole life, I thought I didn't like history. When it turns out, I do like history. I just like it in a very particular form. I much prefer to be following someone along their daily life, watching as they experience historical events, as opposed to the broad historical event happening to a group of people. It's much more personal, despite the fact that, yeah, it's fiction. The 5th book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. It's about how suffering is inevitable, which is a little morbid, but suffering is inevitable, and despite that, we can all find meaning in how we choose to respond to it. I think that this year has been incredible. Despite the challenges, despite the difficulties that is life, these goals gave me something to look forward to, something to work towards, and push me out of my comfort zone, especially when it came to talking to people. I moved my body. I traveled. I was able to see family this year several times, make new friends, and I'm happier for it. So yeah, 2024 was pretty great. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that your year was equally marvelous, if not more wonderful, and I will see you next time. Bye!
What's done? You remember.